Please make sure to subscribe and hit this bell icon and say all and save. And that's all you need so you don't miss my pretty face. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Navamsa Ascendant video. And this is Planets Through Navamsa series. Woo! I wish somebody was making this when I was 20 years old. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. So, today we're going to be doing Jupiter in the ascendant of Navamsa. And what happens when Jupiter is sitting in the ascendant of your D9 Navamsa chart, which is the most important chart in Vedic astrology alongside your birth chart, because it shows the strength of your planets. It shows your inner karmas. It shows your karmas through marriage. It's your bhagya, meaning your luck. And as always, if you do not know what your ascendant is in Navamsa, in the birth chart, where your planets are placed in Navamsa chart, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction, Aspects, and Mahadashas at the Speed of Light, including on my consultation and my Navamsa Nakshatra readings at this link. So, Jupiter in the ascendant of Navamsa. So, Jupiter, it's kind of like a, I would probably say, especially for those who want to get married, who need companionship, it's kind of like a lottery, winning a lottery. Because here, Jupiter pretty much kind of guarantees a marriage. Like, you'll have to have a certain type of yoga in order for Jupiter to not give you the results, to give you marriage. But most of the time, Jupiter will give a marriage. It's like a stamp by universe. Hey, if you want it, you can get it. Even if you have a debilitated Saturn in the 7th house of Navamsa, you've got Rahu, and let's say you've got Ketu and Saturn sitting in the 7th house of Navamsa, but Jupiter from the ascendant looks at the 7th house. It says, yes, I will save your marriage. I will give you marriage. Because one thing you have to realize, Jupiter's job in Navamsa, Jupiter represents celebration in Navamsa. That's number one. It's celebration. It's not marriage. It is not marriage. Wherever Jupiter is placed in Navamsa, there is a celebration that occurs. You celebrate those things. So, that's number one. Number two, Jupiter is intelligence. Right? Jupiter represents intelligence. It is the divine intelligence given to you. So if you don't have any degrees, if you don't even know how to read or write, does that mean you cannot find enlightenment? You cannot find your thyself, self-realization? Of course you can. And then you have the super intelligence if you do that. So in Navamsa, what will Jupiter represent? In Navamsa, Jupiter represents the intelligence to deal with the situations of marriage. And if you remember my video of Navamsa, one of the videos I made, I said 5th house of Navamsa is the intelligence of the person to deal with marriage. Well, if Jupiter is in the ascendant of the head that deals with the marriage in this chart, it's obviously giving intelligence just by sitting there. Number two, Jupiter aspects the 5th house of intelligence. So it's like double intelligence is doing. It's sitting in the ascendant and it's looking at the 5th house. So this person knows exactly how to deal with their spouse. They know the right things to say. They know the right words to say to save a relationship, to save a marriage, to deal with situations in the marriage, to deal with situations in business, any kind of like the situations you run into in the second half of life. So let's say even if you're single, let's say you have one of the yogas where you're just not supposed to get married. And I've discussed this yoga too before. It's funny enough, Kapiel Raaj has that yoga, which requires Navamsa to be analyzed for that yoga. But let's say you're not married, you're 50 years old, 60 years old, you've never been married, maybe you've never even had a relationship. What is Jupiter doing in that sense? Well, simply Jupiter shows that in the second half of life, you have the intelligence to deal with the situations of life. And you become very spiritual, religious. Now, you must be thinking, well, what if my Jupiter is debilitated? Everybody asks for exalted Jupiter, debilitated Jupiter. When you're studying Navamsha, the first thing you want to look for is just the house placement, number one. Then you look for the sign. So if Jupiter is in the ascendant, debilitated, that does not mean the person does not have intelligence. They have intelligence. They will have more of a business intelligence, status intelligence. They'll know, like for example, well, I will discuss this when I get into, let's say, Jupiter in the ascendant in Capricorn in Navamsha. It's so easy, it's so simple. You will understand the type of intelligence the native will have versus Jupiter being in Virgo in the ascendant. These are the things, I mean, man, I mean, talk about the frustrating hours to learn all these things. But, you know, banging on walls, going through banging on walls and falling down, finally I just got it. I understood it. So these are the things that Jupiter represents. Then Jupiter is what? Overall prosperity. So in Navamsha in the ascendant, Jupiter shows one will have good enough bhagya to have things in their life. Whether it's marriage, children, wealth, religious, spiritual knowledge, and wealth. One has the capacity to have that. Mostly, especially in Navamsha, let's say if you're not married, it really shows a person has the intelligence to understand themselves. Know thyself. Like remember what Yogananda used to tell his disciples, that during your meditation say, reveal thyself. Jupiter here may not make a person religious. A person might be an atheist, but they want to know themselves. They have the intelligence to know who they are. What they have to do to survive. See, Jupiter is survival as well. Because Jupiter is Jiva, Jiva Atma. See, there's Paramatma, which only a few people have inside them. Then there's Jiva Atma, which everybody has. And Jupiter is environment. So Jupiter shows you how to survive in the environment. Whatever environment it is. You could be in a corporate world. You could be in a farmland. You could be out in the jungles. Jupiter gives you that intelligence. So those are the things that Jupiter represents in Navamsha. And especially in your marriage, you are the one who the spouse looks up to for advice. You are the one who gives advice in the marriage. So even if, let's say, you are a husband and your spouse has Jupiter in the ascendant in the Navamsha, you're always going to take suggestion of your spouse. But if you have that, your spouse will ask you for suggestions. If you both have that, you both will be capable of sharing each other's opinion and not get on top of each other. Well, I mean, I don't mean it in bed, but metaphorically. So this is a very, very beautiful placement to have of Jupiter. This is, like I said, especially for people who want to know, like in their 20s, 30s, hey, can I get married? Of course, you will get married. You can get married. Even if Venus is debilitated in Navamsha, if Jupiter looks at the 7th house, promises marriage. Okay? So guys, this is my analysis of Jupiter in the ascendant of Navamsha chart. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know what your Navamsha looks like, go to my website on the shop section and look at option 5 and beyond for the report and consultations. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.